Samsung Unpacked is just days away, and the company has already started to show off some of the devices that it might have normally saved for that splashy show. We already saw the Galaxy Tab S6, and now we're taking a closer look at the new Galaxy Watch Active 2, and I know what you're thinking. It's kind of soon for a sequel, isn't it? I mean, like, the last Galaxy Watch Active only came out a few months ago. That is in fact true, but I don't think it's fair to look at the Galaxy Watch Active 2 as a sequel. It's actually more meant to fill the gap between the Galaxy Watch Active and the flagship watch that Samsung still has out there, the bog standard Galaxy Watch. So let's take a closer look. If you've seen the Galaxy Watch before, you will look at these new models and not see a whole lot of difference, and that's frankly fine by me. The real change here is the differences in sizes. Just like the original Galaxy Watch Active, there is a version of the Watch Active 2 that comes in a 40mm body, but that's not great if you have big hands or beefy wrists. So Samsung has also introduced a 44mm body that, for me at least, actually works really, really well. I think a lot of you are gonna like this. More importantly, we are seeing Samsung introducing features into the Watch Active line that just haven't been there before. Maybe the biggest is LTE. Largely, you're meant to kind of use the Galaxy Watch Active when it's connected to your smartphone, but once you've got LTE enabled, you can take it out for runs and really kind of not worry about bringing your phone with you when you don't need to. You'll still be able to get your messages and stream music, so if all you're really looking for is a device that can support you while you're out exercising, this actually might be a pretty good way to go. I will say though that some of the material differences between the standard Bluetooth and the LTE versions are really noticeable. The standard Bluetooth model has an aluminum body, which is perfectly nice, I think. The Galaxy Watch Active kind of had the same, but if you splurge on those LTE models, you are getting stainless steel too, which adds a little bit of verve, a little panache to this otherwise really clean, minimal design. Now, like the Galaxy Watch Active before, the Watch Active 2 lacks the really cool spinning bezel that made devices like the Galaxy Watch so interesting to use. And to this day, I will still go out on a limb and say that the rotating bezel is probably the most elegant way to interact with a smartwatch. Samsung gets this, so they tried to replicate that feature in software, and it kind of works. When you sort of move your finger around the outside of the screen, you'll get some haptic feedback to make it feel like you're clicking that bezel around a Galaxy Watch. It works to an extent, but it's not the same. It's fine. It just feels less interesting when you're replicating this in software rather than using something actually mechanical and well put together. Now, we are looking at Samsung's classic Tizen smartwatch platform, and if you've used one of these things before, you basically know exactly what to expect. That said, Samsung has made a few choices in the software and the hardware that do make this a more complete fitness experience, which is great, especially if you're Samsung's target market, which I believe is literally 28-year-old millennials with big goals. I swear to God, they told us something like that. It's a little crazy. For one, the accelerometer inside the Galaxy Watch Active 2 is about twice as sensitive as the one in the original version. I know that doesn't sound like a whole lot, but Samsung says it'll help the Galaxy Watch Active 2 more accurately track your workouts. It doesn't track any more workouts automatically than it did in the original Galaxy Watch Active, but that extra sensitivity gives Samsung leeway to do more stuff with this over time. I should also point out that if you're a fan of accessorizing, you can take a picture of something with a smartphone and have an algorithm running on the Galaxy Watch 2 turn that into a custom watch face, so everything matches. Cool, I guess. And beyond all of this, Samsung's partnerships with certain app developers have culminated in fuller experiences that run directly on your wrist. Google Translate is a really good example of this. We saw a brief demo in which one person said something in Spanish to a watch, and the watch rendered something back in English. It seemed accurate enough, but these aren't exactly complex sentences, so your mileage may vary. I don't actually know that this is any better than just doing the same thing on your phone, but it's on your watch, so that's interesting, right? You can also now get fuller versions of Twitter and YouTube on your smartwatch, and if that sounds like something you would never want to do, I agree, but you can do it now. You can watch YouTube videos on your watch. Why anyone would want to do this is beyond me, but it's there for you, the consumer. They're looking out for you, and it's It's a wonderful future we're living in. I'm being a little glib because some of the stuff that Samsung did here is legitimately questionable in terms of value to actual human beings. That said, I do think Samsung has done a pretty good job, actually, of filling in the gap between the Galaxy Watch Active and the Galaxy Watch. There is a slice of people who want a slightly more premium smartwatch that actually could be well served by something like this, as long as they focus on the basics. We're talking fitness, we're talking some apps, and we're talking messaging. Not a bad way to go. If you're really interested in what Samsung is trying to pull off here, you might want to pick one of these things up for about $280. That's for the 40mm Bluetooth version, but expect to spend a little more for some of the bigger, flashier models.